happy Cycle 1 Week 2, everyone. So we did our Week 2 work today, and I'm going to go over that. We always do timeline in big group, and we did today as well. We learned the hand motions for that and did the song. So we have 7 wonders of the ancient world, and then patriarchs of Israel. Hittites and Canaanites is Hittites, and then Canaanites worshipped Baal and made a symbol like a cow or a bull, so that we do the bull horns. So Hittites and Canaanites, and then Cush is a sign language K to the side, and then Assyrians, and you can see here there's an archer. They were known for their archery. Well, you can't see it in the video, but there is one on the timeline card. So we do an archery, like we're shooting a bow and arrow. Assyrians, Babylonians, and then China's Shang Dynasty is China's Shang Dynasty. And I left this down to show you. I draw the timeline across here, and then you can kind of see I write the date that's on the card here at the bottom, just to kind of help everybody be a little bit more aware of like what are the dates we're actually talking about. Sometimes I think we sing the timeline song in order, and we kind of know the order of things happening, but we don't necessarily know actually when something was happening. So I wrote those dates up there, and then we put the cards up during class today. Okay, so let's see, where's the timeline song start? It's 7 wonders of the ancient world, patriarchs of Israel, Hittites and Canaanites, Cush, Assyrians, Babylonians, China, Shang Dynasty. Okay, now going on to Latin. We did the same thing that we did last week, so 2 weeks in a row we got this memory work. That means it's super duper important, and you're going to use this in foundations, and then you'll use the noun cases, the English noun cases, in essentials, and then you use the Latin noun cases in challenge. So that's why they have it in here so much. So noun cases again. This week we did it with a little bit more of a rhythm to it. We did nominative, subject, genitive, possessive, dative, indirect, object, accusative, direct, object, ablative, object of the preposition. Okay, and for English, we did the first 5 of our prepositions. So we're actually learning like 50 of them. We're going to be doing prepositions for weeks 2 through 10. I think it's 2 through 10. It might be 2 through 12. At any rate, we're learning a lot of prepositions, and these are the first 5. And there is a song that goes along with it, or it's more of like a chant, and it's very, very fast. Like the whole song is about a minute or something like that. So all of these prepositions, that you're like a second for each hand motion. So I told the kids in class today, like, make sure you actually practice the hand motions if you want to be able to do it with the song, because you're going to need to have like muscle memory to be able to do it quick enough. So we have about, above, across, after, against. Okay, so about, above, across, and you're not gonna be able to see it in the camera, but you like kind of do this, and cross your arms and point down on either side. All right, sorry about that. So we have about, above, across, after is the thumbs behind you, after, against, like pushing against a wall. So about, above, across, after, against. All right, I need to practice too. Okay, going on to history, we have tell me about commandments 6 through 10. So we're doing the second half of the 10 commandments. So the motions we did, thou shalt, number 6, not murder, number 7, not commit adultery, number 8, not steal, number 9, not bear false witness against thy neighbor, and number 10, not covet. Okay, so it's thou shalt not murder, not commit adultery, not steal, not bear false witness against thy neighbor, and not covet. that's how that goes. For science, what are the kingdoms of living things? Animalia, Plantae, Fungi, Protista, Archaea, and Bacteria. So I learned a little bit in class today because I'm the lead learner, I'm not an expert, that these are the Latin names, like what you would see in a Latin scientific name of any plant, animal, living thing. Like they're the scientific names. In English, we would just say the kingdoms of living things are animals, plants, etc. Fungi is the same, but these are Latin names. Okay, but we're learning them this way because that's the way it is in a scientific name. And of course, we love Latin, right? So for Animalia, we did Animalia. Plantae, we did a tree. Fungi, we said we're fungi. Protista, like imagine like you're a pro basketball player and you're shooting the hoops. So Protista. Archaea, playing in an arcade. Archaea. And Bacteria. We're gonna pat ourselves on the back because it has back in it for bacteria. So that's the motions we did in class today. And then for math, we did the 3s and 4s. We just did those to the songs that CC provides on their app and on their soundtrack. And it's also on CC Connected. So for the 3s, we spoke through the facts 1 time, 3 times 1 equals 3, 3 times 2 equals 6. Went through the whole thing. And then we just did 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 42, 45. Then for the 4s, did the same thing. We just spoke through the facts together. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, all the way down to 4 times 15 is 60. And then we did the song for that one, and it's to the tune of This Old Man. So it's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, 56, and 60. Has a little extra 60 on there. Oh, I forgot geography. Okay, so for geography, we pulled out our maps, and we marked the Red Sea, the Persian Gulf. The only little trick I had for remembering was the Persian Gulf is like a cat paw reaching for strings, and the strings are the Tigris and the Euphrates River. And then Caspian Sea, Black Sea. So it's all these bodies of water, and then Babylon is the only, like it was a kingdom or a city in the middle of all of that. So it's marked, I have it on my little cheat sheet here. Here we go. So Red Sea, and then we go over to Persian Gulf. So it's reaching for these 2 strings here of the Tigris and the Euphrates. Then we went up to Caspian Sea, Black Sea, and then in the middle, Babylon. Okay, so that is what we did for new grammar today. For science, we were learning about how different creatures are created uniquely, and they have specific features about them that help them specifically. So for the first, we did 2 demonstrations or experiments. So the first one was talking about a spider's sense of touch and a spider's web, and we had a red thread that we like held kind of taut, or a red string, and the kids got to feel like a little vibration on that thread and then a stronger vibration, and how you can feel the difference. And spiders' sense of touch are like, it's super sensitive. They're covered in these little tiny hairs, so their sense of touch is how they know whether something in their web is dinner or if it's something like, if it's danger. So, you know, something like a small fly is dinner, whereas like a big wasp or something bumping their web, it's going to make a bigger vibration, so they actually know that it's something dangerous, and then they don't go to it. Then we also talked about for the other experiment we did was our it's called Belly Up, and it was talking about why do fishes end up floating belly up after they die. Why do fish, not fishes, and so that was actually, we talked a little bit about how their swim bladder is an organ. They don't have lungs, but they do have this swim bladder, and it inflates with air and deflates to help them go up and down in the water. So that's how a fish floats when it's alive. But then when a fish is floating belly up, it's not the swim bladder that's holding them up. It's actually the bacteria that's in their gut is decomposing the fish and kind of breaking down stuff, and it creates air or gas in their bellies, and that causes the belly of the fish to float, and so the fish is floating upside down in the water. And so we had a little plastic bag that had a big air bubble in it, and we saw how the air bubble always stayed on top, just like the fish's belly would stay on top. So those are our experiments today. And then for art, we just super briefly reviewed our oils, the elements of shape to be drawing with, and then we talked about mirror images and symmetry. So I had this little handout that showed some different lines of symmetry, and then we actually drew one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and that was a lighthouse. So we had this side of the worksheet already filled in, and then we drew the best we could, a mirror image of that to create the lighthouse, the symmetrical lighthouse. So that's what we did for art. And then for review today, we played a different game called Bang. So this one, I made this set myself, but it was super simple. I just made myself a note card with the rules on it because I forget the rules to games really easily, and it's really helpful for me to just have a little cheat sheet. But I have 3 sets, and there's 3 of each card in here. So there's 1 for each subject, and then there's also a bang card. Well, there's 3 bang cards because there's 3 of everything. So this is what the bang card looks like. It's just like bang clip art that I got from somewhere. And so we divided into teams. Excuse me. And the kids would, one team, whichever team is going, would pick a card. And if they got science, for example, we would go through our science from this week or previous weeks, which it's only the past 2. And then if they got that right, which they do because we all work together to get it right, so they would get to keep this card as a point. And then the teams are just collecting their points until they get a bang card, and then they lose all their cards and they reset. So it's just a fun, silly thing. I emphasize, like, no one needs to get super upset about losing their points because we're not doing like a prize for the winner or a consequence for the losers. It's just fun, and it's just to see who wins. And it's really just a way to make reviewing more fun. So we did that today. And some ideas, you can play individuals, or you can play teams, or you can play class versus parents, which I thought was actually a fun idea if you have enough parents in your room to do that. So that was our week this week, and we'll see you next week for week 3.